Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gyle here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. Huge, unqualified, unquantifiable apologies, guys, for no cast on both Friday and Monday. Those of you who've liked my Facebook page will know I had some personal issues going on at the end of last week, and Monday was a public holiday here in the UK, so I didn't feel like coming into work. I know it's not really my work. I mean, it kind of is my work, but it's not really my work. On to today's game anyway. It's going to be a ladder match, and it's going to take place on Certus Major. The quantum gateways have fired, the portals have burst into existence, and the players have emerged planetside. So let's head on over to the game zone and see how they're going to get on. Certus Major, of course, needs little or no introduction, but our players do because they're very self-absorbed. Over here on the right-hand side, we've got Varro in his non-so-customary red, I should say. Of course, this is a ladder match, so it's not like they get to choose. And he's going Cybrin, opening first air. Very excited. Perhaps we're going to see some early air harass from him. He's chucking down a few P-gens there for the assistance. And over here on the left-hand side, it's Clan Tag's Rock in his non-so-customary blue, because Varro's stolen his color. Also in his customary Cybrin. So it's going to be a Cybrin mirror matchup, and he's opened more conventionally first land. Going to get the adjacency bonus. Going to go second air as well. Going to plonk that down next to the Hydro, get the all-important adjacency bonus going on. I like what I see. Long strands of P-gens queued up as well. Some spaghetti going on the left-hand side. Second air as well, so we can assume pretty heavy airplay going to be coming out of the right-hand side here from Varro. Looks to be that way at least. For the moment, he's still producing engineers, so there's not going to be any super early bomber play coming out of this. So I can only assume that it is going to be a top-heavy airplay coming from Varro. That's why he wants this extra air factory in the mix. But he's not going sort of bomber first or anything. He is going to go Jester, but that's 1, 2, 3, 4 engineers later. Of course, the air factories aren't good. The Cybrin air factories aren't good at producing engineers one after another because of the time it takes for the engineers to roll off. Platforms have to drop, and by the time the engineer's off over here, you can start the next one. Other factories will have started their production quicker. So still not rectified that as far as I'm aware, but it's going to be a Jester first at any rate. And as we've already got a bomber in the air from Rock, so in terms of expediency, Rock has had the better of it, even though he started land factory first. Bombers come straight up here on the left-hand side, hunting for engineers. Not going to find anything at the moment unless he comes a little bit over. There is an engineer here currently working on some mechs. It's flown straight over. Jester in play as well. Going to go to split screen because I want to see who's going to get the better of this one. Bomber still circling though, and I think it's because of this Jester. Rock's attention has been yanked back down here to this side of the map. One engineer kill already on the books for that Jester, but that bomber got absolutely none. Circling, trying to get a solution on this one, but the interceptor from Varro came in to deal with it. And I think we saw at least 3 kills down there for that Jester, so that's definitely an early little victory there for Varro. Seems to be somewhat ahead. 17 mass plays 13, not a massive advantage, and it's still very early days, but still an advantage nonetheless. You can see only now are these 3 mexes getting grabbed, whereas Varro already has his 3 down, currently working on a T1 PD as well, and probably just as well because we've got a Mole and a Mantis coming in this little ramp here from Rock top. A few inties circling overhead from both these guys, 3 apiece, but look out how many air factories do we have down for Varro. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can only assume Varro really is going hardcore air for this. Rock, by contrast, is sticking with the ground play. 1 air factory, but 1, 2, 3 land factories in play already, and 4 more queued up, ready to go. So very contrasting strategies laid out for this one. This Mole up here and this Mantis from Rock are going to chill out by this top mass point. Hopefully lie in wait for some engineers to come their way. Jester out for Varro up here as well, just looking to see if he can clear the way of any potential ground units looking to threaten any forward engineers. Interceptor getting shot down there by Varro's forces. And Rock actually moving to the middle. He's managed to take out one of these eruptors. There's still the one on the other side, which he's taken down here with this Medusa. Rock has reclaimed some wall sections, ready to go in there and start getting his hands on some of that neutral mass that's sitting there, of course, on Certis. But over here on the left-hand side, another little bit of Jester play. 4 kills for this one. Go out on a limb, say they probably all engineers. That's a pretty nasty little opening there from Varro. His factory here on the ridge has started switching production to Sky Slammers to ward off this little air incursion. And having taken down that mechs, Varro's not going to be able to stick around to try and take down that engineer as well. He's had to pull out. Rock maneuvering forces into the middle. Yet more air forces from Varro circling around the top. This little group down the bottom taking down yet another mech. So there is a cheeky little radar down here that if it flies over, it could do a lot worse than to take it out. And more harassment going on over here as well. So Varro making very nice headway at the 7-minute mark. Little squads of 1 Jester with accompanying interceptors there for defense, just going around picking off engineers, picking off mexes. Another one in the middle here. Groups of Sky Slammers. About all Rock can do now is pump out these Sky Slammers, go ground to air mainly. That's all he can really hope to do. Far too many interceptors on the field. Hasn't got the time nor the resources to spam out enough interceptors to deal with the amount that's coming out of Varro's corner. 1, 2, 3, 4 air factories still in full flow, mainly focusing on interceptors. In fact, it's mainly just 3 for the moment. In fact, actually only operating off 2, so Varro not making full use of it as yet. Doesn't actually have the eco, I suspect, to do that. It's probably power that's hurting him the most. Needs to get that up and running before he can commit to the airplay in a serious manner. The interceptor from Rock coming in, focusing on these Jesters. For some reason, the defending interceptors there from Varro decided to go on holiday and are not in there protecting those Jesters. One down, another one looks like it might just get out. Oh, Sky Slammer's chasing it down. It's going to emerge victorious though on 77 HP. I suggest he finds an alternate route home. But groups of Mantis on the field around the place for Rock, and Mantis not featuring very heavily in this match. I mean, we've got quite a few in the middle, but not actually getting very much done. It's quite strange for a Cybran mirror matchup, but it's a testament partly to the shape of the map, of course, but also the fact that Varro has committed to the airplay in the way that he has. Groups of a couple of bombers out up here for Rock, circling around the top of the map. Now this Mantis coming in down this upper land bridge, going to have very minimal success indeed. Absolutely no Sky Slammers in that mix whatsoever. Few interceptors coming in to try and deal with these Jesters. Heavily outnumbered though. They're all going to go down as far as I can glean from this. Question is, how many, if any, Jesters will they grab? One of them gets shot down there, but I think that's all he's going to manage. Still 3 Jesters in place. Now Rock splitting up these groups of Mantis into different groups. One going to push forward, grab an engineer kill, potentially grab this mechs as well. Actually, he's going to run out of power there in terms of DPS as they get popped one at a time. And we've got some ground T2 on the field already for Varro as well. So a nice little tech switch up there, committing to the T1 airplay in a big way. And then on the slide, just upgrading his land factory there to T2, starting to pump out Wagners, so there'll be some nice alpha damage there coming off that T2 factory. Rock shouting in caps in chat, Jester spammage. Yes, indeedy. Do like this play. A large group of Sky Slammers now on this northern plateau. Going to protect these 3 mass points and this engineer crucially as well. That's going to be building them. Also going to get a PD in place, although Land Force is the last of Rock's worries at the moment. These Jesters needs to find an effective counter for them. Sky Slammers emerging everywhere on the field. I guess that's one way to go. But of course, doesn't speak volumes for Rock's maneuverability on the field. It's going to be requiring large amounts of them all over the place to really lock down and counter this Jester play. What have we got over here? One Jester with 5 kills. It's been in the back. It's managed to take down a radar. But that will be all she wrote for him as a group of interceptors from Rock comes in and decommissions him on the ground. And we've also got a T2 comm here from Varro. One Cerberus turret down in place and a T1 radar put down straight after it. Give him some nice local intel. Group of Jesters flying right over a whole load of Sky Slammers. Of course, the tracking on those Sky Slammers are excellent in the air. Not so good on their ground fire toggle, but very good against air units. So bagging at least 1 kill there. But a whole bunch of build capacity queued up here at the back. Going pop one by one as well as a mechs. That look to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 engineers down. 7, 8, 9 potentially. Very nicely done indeed, but uh-oh, look out, Varro has been swamped. That Cerberus turret, in fact, 2 Cerberus turrets it looks like, down, as well as that radar, and now Varro is in trouble. He's going to have to pull in some Jesters from somewhere. He has got a Cerberus turret up here at the back he can retreat to, but he's down to around 8,000 HP. Things looking a little bit sticky for him. Where are those air reinforcements? He could really do with some. Rock not going with him, though. Perhaps not sensing now is the time because of that Cerberus turret, perhaps. 6,000 HP. Rock now moving in. Nice little overcharge there. Will take the pressure off somewhat. I think that will be just enough to buy him enough time for these Wagners to come in and save his bacon. Of course, that Cerberus turret as well, offering him some pretty nice coverage there. If only he'd had a few more in the mix, that could have been game right there, and that something Rock wouldn't have shied away from, because things not looking that promising for him at the moment. Although he has evened it up nicely, I say that. He's doing pretty well in terms of map control. It's looking a lot more like 50%. However, the mobility of these Jesters, you can see unclaimed mass points in Rock's territory all over the place. And, that is going to hamper him in the long run. What is the true look at the mass we're talking about without the reclaim? Looks like 55 or so for Rock, and we can't tell. There we go. Looks like it's all over the place. We'll have to come back to that in just a second. Power issues galore in Varro's camp. Not too surprising considering the amount of aircraft he's been playing with. Perhaps he's looking at upgrading one of these factories at some point. Not at the moment. Still sticking with the current amount. Jesters up here, finally working on this little installation at the top. 3 mechs is now vulnerable. Surprising Rock didn't get any static anti-air in place while he had the opportunity. Interceptors coming in for him though, and these Jesters are unguarded. It looks like all 3 will go down. That is a nice pickup, but hello, we've got at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or so Wagners coming in the top. 7th one straggling behind. That will be enough to force these forces from Rock backwards to his side of the map. That is 3 less mexes for Rock, although he looks to be doing okay. Is that based on reclaim? It is based on reclaim, so 50 odd a piece it looks to be. Varro has sorted out his power issues, so in eco terms these two are around about the same for the moment. Well, you get the feeling that when Varro starts committing more resources to upgrading his eco, he's going to be in a better position, holding slightly more of the map than his opponents. And some poor positioning there for those Wagners from Varro, taking some Cerberus turret fire from inside Rock's main base. Decides to pull them back, and a whole bunch of landed interceptors. Those are units you can't afford to lose, Rock. Very unfortunate indeed. An entire air wing just got recycled. That's not so good at all. Rock needs those interceptors more than he needs oxygen right now. And straight in to attack some wall sections, and then a prompt retargeting down onto that auto gun. Another one right by it to go down as well. And again, 4 more mexes in jeopardy. So this Jester play looking very strong indeed from Varro. Question is he making it pay? Just about. He's definitely got a slight advantage, but we've got a lot of T2 on the field now from Rock. These Wagners here pushing in from Varro. Not going to get too far into the main base. He's there with his ACU anyway, ready to overcharge if this build capacity gets threatened too badly. But turns out wasn't needed, and he's actually producing Vipers. Question is what for? I can only think for down here, and that's some good anticipation. 1 Cerberus turret in place, but now a Burstmaster going down, a shield gen, and 3 more Cerberus turrets queued up as well. So that is a fortification in the making there from Varro. Rock's anticipated this. It's the sort of thing that comes from years of playing this game, knowing all the maps, the likely choke points, the places that your opponent's likely to throw down fortifications, and of course TAC missile launchers, or the mobile missile launchers I should say, for any race. Ideal turtle breakers. 1 Cerberus turret down, there's another one in place, the second one is half done as well. Second one going up slightly slower. Varro is low on mass. He is using up all of it. Jester's coming in though to relieve the pressure, swatting those Vipers one after another. He really needs to get some bangers on the field, and there we go, some T2 mobile flak in play. I wonder how this is going to change the dynamic of this game, because these Jesters have been so crucial throughout this. There's a large air engagement happening over Rock's side of the map. Varro's got the advantage in terms of numbers, but there's at least 4 or so bangers in that mix firing up at the skies, so Varro will have lost a fair few planes in that. They were nice and spread out. It's when they're clumped over the flak the really bad damage gets dealt out. What's going on over here for the main base? You can tell, look at the airplay. We've got an air staging facility, so Varro looking to economize on his air production by repairing the planes that get damaged, and ran out of fuel. Up here at the top, a few Wagners getting caught out by some Jesters. It's quite a nasty little snag there from Varro. This looked like it was a airdrop from this T2 transport here from Rock. Has managed to pick off these mexes. So that is something. That's quite an expensive loss. Yet more Jesters going north on the right-hand side here from Varro. Going up to deal with them. But Interceptor's looking reasonably even at the moment on the field, thanks to that last engagement. Rock has committed quite a few more resources to that air production, but there's so many Jesters on the field, that's unreal. And now the Interceptors from Varro coming in to go after Rock's attacking Inties, but uh-oh, look at this. They've got in behind the Jesters that are fleeing for home. He'd be doing much better to bring the Jesters back to his air wing, because Rock has just got a whole bunch of his Inties in behind those Jesters, is just popping them one after another. That's a really painful mistake there from Varro. There's just so many things going on the field. He can't have been wary of what's happening. I think he's going to lose every single Jester. Oh, very painful indeed. Nicely done there from Rock, but look at how many Interceptors were on the field there. There was no need to lose all those. Definitely a costly mistake. A few Inties here out of fuel coming in to get refueled. Rock throws away the last of his remaining Interceptors, but yeah, a couple of mistakes there, I think, from both players in that small passage of play there, but so many Jesters went down. That looked to be like 15 or 20 Jesters that Varro just threw away. And we're now seeing some T3 land on the field for Rock. Some Loyalists in play. It's main factory down here. We also have another T2 factory, of course, down here, and this is not NG mod. This is a ladder match, so that has cost more than you would expect. That's why you don't often see that in regular play, but Rock needs that, of course, because he wants to start spamming out T3 units, but he's going to need the bangers, he's going to need the Vipers to deal with these Jesters and break these little turtle points that Varro is putting up, these little micro bases. His commando's spamming up down here in the south. Lots of build capacity here, getting hit by Viper fire. Very minimal AoE, of course, but with that many Vipers in play, take a great deal of micro for Rock to finish those off. But look at these loyalists on the march. Of course, no Jesters around to deal with them for the moment, but we are seeing T3 land out for Varro, so he is countered by upgrading as well. He's starting to spam out loyalists. So 23 minutes, this game marches boldly into the T3 phase. Once again, Rock having a severe disagreement with that one wool section at the back there, not the auto gun. But I hate those rear wall sections, really pesky. List marching forward, but Rock become worse off, I think, in this one. As reinforcements come in from Varro, loyalists down. But so many inties on the field for Varro. Definitely still has air superiority. Of Wagners coming in around the top as well. Where have they come from? Of course, there's no PD here now, but it looks like they've just bypassed those mexes. And they're trying to get into Rock's main base to deal as much damage as possible, slow him up. Bricks on the field, though, should be able to deal with these Wagners relatively easily if they can get in to a position where they can actually make contact. Currently the relief of the land blocking every single shot from these bricks, and now these Wagners pouring into the main base. One mech's down, another T2 mech's about to go down. There is a Cerberus turret, a couple of Cerberus turrets in fact near the back. Rock currently spamming up some T1 PD with the local build capacity that he has available. Finally those bricks get into the mix as well. Deal with those Wagners. One of these bricks down to around 2,000 HP, but it's going to have enough on it to see this through. And some Renegades, interesting in the mix for Tag Rock. So he's made the switch up to T2 Air. That's finally got some air-to-ground play for him, but a little T3 jock drop going on up here at the top from Varro. A couple of loyalists on that transport. Going to take down both this mechs and this tracer. Renegades come in to deal with them. That Dragonfly is probably going to make it home as it flies up towards the top of the map. Lots of inties now on the field as well for Rock. Still trying to deal with this heavy airplay we're seeing coming out of the red corner. Defensive turrets going down in the middle. Nice grab there from Varro, clearing up the middle as a passage of play for him once again. Groups of Vipers snagging some NGs as they come forward out of this bottom factory here. People watch these games and say, why aren't they concentrating on? Well, it's just the scope of Supreme Commander. You just physically, no matter how good you are, you can't be everywhere. It's just too much going on. Loyalist down in the middle for Varro. Quite a few Renegades on the field. I like this switch from Rock. It's very aggressive. It's sort of saying, I don't care that you've been maining air through the whole game, Varro. I'm going air, and what you're going to do? Well, Varro says, this is what I'm going to do. Comes in with an enormous air wing over the middle. Goes straight after a few inties to begin with, and then switches up to the gunships. It's now a bit of a free-for-all in the middle, and Rock severely outnumbered once again in the skies, but bangers coming in from the main base spewing out of this T2 land factory, and Varro's going to pull back, having dealt with those Renegades. still has significant advantage in the air, I'd say. Down to just a couple of interceptors once again. Rock unable to get a handle on this air game. If I were he, I'd start producing many more air factories. He's got to do something to deal with it. Can't just rely on these bangers. How many air factories are we looking at here? Still the same kind of amount. 1, 2, 3 T1 and a T2 there from Varro. A strange rally point up here at the top for Rock. Bunch of loyalists and some bangers searching perhaps for secret bases. Know what his thinking is there. Dragonfly getting caught in the middle there by Varro. Didn't look like it had any units on it though, so minimal losses. It's perhaps going up to move some of these units down here. That would have been my choice once they're up here, and indeed they were. A couple more Dragonflies on the scene. Going to start shuttling those units now down here. A whole bunch of Jesters on the field again for Varro, going up to deal with them. Air Wings sent in again to thin out Rock's Air Force. Is going to pull back before the bangers do too much damage. Jesters firing away, take down that Dragonfly. These loyalists probably not going to get too much done. Far too many Jesters on the field. Once again, Varro's air control saving the day. Another loyalist down for no gain. And this time, Rock starts airlifting some of the bangers in. Set up a ferry command here, but something seems to have gone slightly wrong. He's moved the units over to the side there. Now this is going to be interesting. Jesters on the move. Varro not committing though. Must have somehow realized the amount of bangers that are up there, and those Jesters would just get shredded. So nothing going to happen on that front. Little brick drops happen down here at the bottom from Varro. One Renegade is on him though. There's a few interceptors, quite a lot of interceptors in fact, from Rock, who's been very busy indeed. Going to cover that Renegade. Few inties from Varro coming in. Going to go straight after the Renegade. These are disposable interceptors, and Rock well out of position with his own inties. That is an intel fail there. He wasn't able to do anything about it, but he's got one of his own bricks on the scene, which manages to finish off Varro's dropped brick. Quite a lot of bricks on the ground. More action brewing up at the top. These loyalists picking off mexes in the area. Do a lot worse than to snag that Magno T1 radar there on the left, but doesn't have the time and is now in full retreat. That brick is going to chase these guys down, and of course one loyalist and a bunch of bangers versus a brick. That brick is going to win. Not going to go down too well for him at all. A whole bunch of bricks down here for Rock, taking a lot of fire from this Cerberus turret, which is only on around 1200 HP. He could definitely snag that. Varro senses that's not a good place to be. Pulls back last couple of bricks he's got in the area. Far too many bricks on the ground. And lots of inties back in the air again for Rock, who's doing a superb job at staying in this air game despite continuously facing losses in the sky. This is good eco, good production here from Rock, staying back on top of the areas of the game that matter for him right now. And I'm just going to slow this down and see if we can get a really good look at what the real ecos are here from these two guys. Ecos fluctuating all over the place. Solid reclaim coming in from Varro. So it looks to be around 61, 66, something like that for Rock, and 70 odd something for Varro. So Varro with a slight advantage there. I have put a post on the forums asking if Zep can rectify this situation with this so that this counter isn't affected by reclaim. We'll just show actual income per tick from mexes, fabs, SCUs, ACUs, that kind of thing, and ignore the reclaim that's coming in, because we do have this counter which we can swip to see what's happening. So this brick anyway from Varro, taking out a couple of mexes and this land factory. Rock airdrops a couple of bricks in to deal with him. 2v1 now, looking rather comfortable there for Rock. Need to get some inties out to deal with this though. Large air fight brewing on this bottom section of the map. Couldn't tell you who has the advantage in this one. It is far too close. If only Rock had a few bangers under here at the same time. He's got the odd Sky Slammer in there, mixed in with this group of bricks. But I think Varro is going to get the better of this one. Some static T1 anti-air turrets down here, some tracers. Going to pick off any of Varro's inties that stray too far over this way. But look at that. Look how many inties still on the field there for Varro. Massive air win for him. Once again, Rock's air force completely depleted. Bricks getting thwarted here by the relief of the land. Past the 33-minute mark in this game. Jesters still being used to great effect. Useful little units, Jesters. Can be cost effective even at this stage. Finally managed to take down that brick. Rock comes in to snag a few of those kills with some inties, but being overwhelmed once again by Varro's air forces. How many inties are we talking about there for Varro? To the 90s, or 87 with 7 out of fuel. Air fetish, says Rock. Yeah, I'd be feeling much the same if I were in your shoes. But it's been a pretty effective strategy this game. It's worked quite well for Varro, who hasn't expanded. I mean, he built these initial factories in about the first 5-10 minutes of the game, and in the next 25 hasn't touched or built any more, with the exception of this one up here, I suppose. I think that's fair to say that that's all that's gone down. Perhaps this one down here as well. But no spam coming out for Varro at all. Seems to be a lot more factories down for Rock, which is interesting. You'd expect him to be pulling ahead with that much more build capacity at his main base. Bricks here moving in from Varro. A testament to how well Varro's been doing in the fights to stay on top of the air game. Really does need to move these bricks forward though. Take out these Cerberus turrets. The shield's about to blink back on. That'll afford him yet more coverage. So that's a bit of a shame he didn't take that opportunity. Another little drop down here from Varro. One brick been airlifted onto this bottom section. 3 mass points, or now 2 mass points in jeopardy, 1 already down. A few Mantis being thrown in there for good measure, not going to get too much done. But another drop happening up here from Rock simultaneously as well. Mex has gone down, or one Mex has gone down. Another T2 could be about to fall. Jester's just lacking the DPS there to finish that brick off before it can take down that Mex. Does manage to save at least 2 of those T2 engineers though, which is rather nice. Bangers in the mix as well now from Rock. Jester's being pulled away. Rock just can't seem to get air superiority, and he's built a fair few more air factories. He's got one T2 air factory there, a T1 there, another T1 there, and another T1 there with lots of build capacity on it. So it's not like he hasn't been trying. It's just Varro, his timing attacks with the air units he's got, meaning he continuously vanquishes all of Rock's forces whilst holding on to a significant number of his own. It's keeping him ahead all the time. Large grisly looking group of bricks up here from Rock, finishing off a more meekly looking group from Varro as they retreat back towards Varro's base. So Rock looking like he's making ground up here at the top. But 38 minutes gone and still not an experimental to be seen anywhere. No one deciding to go for it at all. A large engineered drop though happening. There must be a pretty large mass field somewhere. So coming up here to grab these brick wrecks. Don't blame you. A lot of mass there on the ground. Small incursion happening here from Rock as he's pushed forward, but he's met a very healthy looking group of Varro's bricks. He's going to be forced back onto the upper plateau. Once again, large group of inties from both players going to fight directly over the top of Rock's bangers. Varro pulling out, dealing the damage, pulling out nicely before he takes too many losses though. All of those bangers go pop. Varro once again gaining control of this little portion of ground with those bricks. Seeing a few, or I thought I saw a few Corsairs in that mix as well from Varro, so making some use of fighter bombers. You can see it, there he is. Going after those bricks. Another engineer drop happening on the top here from Rock. But oh no, Jester's coming in to deal with the bricks. Are going to fall upon these engineers. And they are well and truly done. Bricks down, engineers down. Ah, look at that. Absolute massacre. Whole family just obliterated in the blink of an eye in what has been definitely the worst war crime of this battle. Still getting lots of kills, these little groups of jesters. That's quite insane at minute 41. And still no ASFs on the field, which is quite surprising. No T3 air factories to be seen. For a game that's focused or been so heavily focused on the air, you'd have thought maybe potentially Rock will have gone for the transition to deal with it, and indeed he's going for it now. Just as I start talking about it, he starts upgrading, or has already started an upgrade to T3. I'll have to see if that makes any difference, if Rock can finally get a foot in the door in the air game. Starts producing those ASFs, first one off the field, but again a very bad place to park your fighters. Lots of interceptors going pop there. Haven't paid their parking charges. And the proverbial brick-shaped parking attendant comes in and starts destroying your stuff. And, Brick's getting some traction here from Varro, rolling in the front. They're not going to get too much done. There's a pretty heavy bank of Cerberus turrets down here with pursuing forces from Rock. Managed to deal with them. I think these guys are probably going to work out now the only way to crack either of these nuts is to break into the experimental game. I don't see any underway at the moment for Rock nor for Varro. 43 minutes gone. Large air engagement happening in the middle. A whole bunch of dragonflies in a very precarious situation indeed, as a whole bunch of interceptors from Varro fly over the main base. A whole bunch of Corsairs as well going after the power, taking down one T2 power plant that I could see. How has that affected Rock's power? It really hasn't. He's got 600 to play with unless he's turned something off. I'll have to take a look at that in a moment. Again, another pass with the interceptors. Don't want to do too many of those, Varro, especially not since there are now ASFs on the field for Rock. He will have spotted that ASF now, and the question is, will that have provoked him into a T3 transition of his own? Not yet, it would seem. A few Corsairs, those still flying around. It's That's what he was using for the power sniping mission on that last run, Varro. Very strange game this indeed. Rock working on rebuilding that power plant, decides he needs it. Potentially he probably was requiring it. It's probably powered down a bunch of stuff. He's definitely utilizing that T3 factory for T1 production at the moment. Not building any more ASFs. We can't afford it, too costly on the power front. If he stayed with T1 interceptors, he could probably grab back the initiative in the air. But now it's Rock looking like he's going to make a push up at the top, while Varro is potentially making maneuvers towards the south. We haven't got a great deal of turtleage going on down here. There looks to be 2 Cerberus turrets that I can see on the face of it. One SAM at the back, and a few shields to keep them safe, but that is relatively it. Bricks up here at the top, discouraging Varro from moving any further forward. Once again, the game moves into a very stagnant phase, and I wonder what these two players are thinking right now about what their next maneuver is going to be. And we're starting to see some T3 power plants going down for Varro, so that could potentially be a transition into some T3 air, getting some the power ready for ASF spam, or potentially it could be experimental builds. Definitely something has to change. Rock is going to stay with the T1 production on that T3 plant now. Try and get as many interceptors on the field as possible. He probably feels like he's been slightly stronger on the ground over the course of this game. I'd have to agree with him if that is what he's thinking. Quite a serious brick incursion here from Varro. I think Varro might have the better deal. He might have more bricks in that mix. Rock agrees. He's retreating back towards his Cerberus turrets. He's having power issues as those shields blink on and off. And these bricks might just have opened the door. Need to start focusing on the Cerberus turret. One down. Shield down, 2 Cerberus turrets down, a whole bunch queued up at the back here. The question is, will they get finished before these bricks completely eradicate this defensive position? Actually, don't think they will. They could be a little bit better with their target selection. Going after bangers very unnecessarily here. Need to focus on those Cerberus turrets, get them out of commission as quickly as possible. So that is a nice little bit of position clearing there from Varro. It's opened up that area of the map for him, and he still has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bricks out of that mix in place. Probably think about removing them though. Rock's coming in with some more forces of his own. Large little air incursion happening over up here at the top from Varro. Rock coming in with his own air force, still looking underpowered somehow despite all of that energy that's going into evening up this air game. Despite all the air build capacity on that air factory, that T3 air factory pumping out T1 interceptors, Varro is still way ahead in this. And we have a crab that's gone down on the right hand side. It's been placed, queued up, 40% done or so. A lot of build capacity on it. How's that affecting Varro's eco? Completely maxed out there. So it's going to be a lull in activity in terms of regular units being produced as we pass or come up to the 50-minute mark in this game. Still no experimentals under production there for Rock. production. Bricks coming in from Varro up here at the top. Front one down. Second one down. Last two gonna pull out. So again, Varro in control of that position, while at the same time yielding the bottom. So it really is back and forth. I can't remember the game where I saw this level of exchange of map control back and forth between two players in a 1v1 for this length of time. Quite a few AFFs in the mix now here from Rock. So many interceptors there from Varro. And that crab is all but finished. There it goes, that is online. So now Rock has a whole new set of issues as we get set for another air battle in the middle of the map. So many interceptors. That is a pretty sight. Quite a few interceptors that are out of fuel there from Rock. Being massacred. And still, Varro holds on to air. And we have got T3 air on the field as well for Varro, so he's going to have ASFs of his own. First couple are on the field already. Look how many jesters are queued up here at the back as well, so he's got those to call on as and when he needs them. Still in charge of air. Got the first experimental on the field, although there's a Monkey Lord nearly finished. Of course, a Monkey Lord next to a crab. The Monkey Lord is going to come off second best. That crab now getting into firing position. Start laying down the pain on those bangers queued up in the middle, or lined up in the middle. Nice snag there. Radar down. Brick's actually marching forward from Rock. He's obviously sensed the danger, wants to try and deal with that megalith ASAP. Front one taking an awful lot of fire. Some bricks coming in from behind the megalith for Varro. Rock's thought better of it. Brave Sir Robin ran away. Back to base they go. Decides he wants no part of that whatsoever. Probably not a bad idea. Just buying some time to get the Monkey Lord in position as well. Get the benefit of that microwave laser on that crab. Do we have any more experimentals under construction? That is the question. The plague philosophers for our generation. Microwave laser down, working on the bricks at first, but then switched up to the megalith. Gets absolutely brutalized by the bricks and the megalith. More bricks coming in for Rock as well, but that megalith still on 85,000 HP, looking pretty. Lots more bricks to come in as well. Still no second experimental under construction for Rock. 60-odd thousand HP and falling on that megalith as it just pops units one after another, going after the bangers at the moment. I guess he wants to clear it up so he can bring in the jesters. He might potentially have the bricks to do this, just to get in range, start putting down the hurt on that megalith. Not complaining about the splash. Well, going Cybrin too. You can see Varro poised there with those jesters. Too many bangers in that mix though. Can't risk taking them in at the moment. But I think he's done enough in terms of eradicating the bricks to keep that megalith alive. Of course, those bangers can't do anything to it. So instead, I'm just going to move up around the top of the map with those Jesters. And a Megalith under construction in Rock's base as well. Realizes those bricks haven't done the job. So much mass available for reclaim in the middle. Should either player actually get there? What have we got down here? Another experimental, this time a Monkey Lord under construction in Varro's base. And now the Jesters coming in. Do a lot worse than to take out all that build capacity around that T3 factory, or even that T3 factory. But no, potentially coming in for the snipe. Oh, it's raining Jesters as they just fall into whatever, I don't know, a wall of Burstmaster flak. Burstmaster's going down here, being placed as quickly as possible by Rock. Those Jesters aren't going to get anything done at this stage in the game. They are completely outclassed. Probably not the best use of them. Would have been better spent taking off around here, finishing off mass points. I applaud the effort though. Lots of build capacity here, getting massacred from the cliff face by a combination of these bricks and the Megalith firing down from above. Megalith has looked better. There's definitely a few scratches on that paintwork. 14,000 HP, but it can sit here and cause pretty significant damage here to the edges of Rock's base, should he decide to. He's going after the mexes first, the shield gens. Definitely opening up these defenses. Megalith here from Rock nearly done. He needs to be careful, doesn't want his commander standing too close to that hostile Megalith. Rock taking so much damage now. This is surely going to be beginning of the end. He'll probably be able to deal with this little incursion, especially since his Megalith has nearly finished, but he's lost 4 core mexes that look to be mostly all at T3. He's lost at least 4 or so T2 power plants. Now his Megalith's online, firing back at Varro's. T3 power plant down, another T3 power plant down. That surely is enough damage to end this. Pretty big mass delivery there from Varro right on Rock's doorstep, but surely the damage has been done. Rock won't have the power to get anything done. Look at that, minus 3,500 net. Very painful indeed. Finally the last brick goes down, but at what cost? Here's one more right at the entrance. And of course, Rock's map control has been reduced effectively to this corner here, this section. There's a lot of build capacity here on reclaim duty. Just getting swatted by random little bricks here from Varro dotted around. Rock's trying to run these guys down before they catch up to these engineers. More mexes under threat as well. As we approach the 1 hour mark in this game. Lots of ASFs on the field, and still air superiority firmly in Varro's camp, and it's going to remain there now. I don't see any way Rock's going to be able to get back on top of this. He's spamming up T3 power plants as best he can to get back in this game in terms of resources. Solved his power issues for the moment. He's operating way down the pile, effectively at 20% the income in terms of mass of his opponent. One hero brick up here for Varro, swatting all of these replicators as they come in. Taken out virtually. Oh, he's taken out 21 for a trade-off of what looks to be around 2,000, 1,500 or so HP. Another megalith here under construction from Varro. And it's a testament, it's a credit to how good Rock is that he's been behind because of this strategy Varro has employed for the duration of this match. He's been behind the whole time, and yet the game still isn't over. Monkey Lord coming in the top from Varro. Just going to bring his megalith up to the top to meet him. Needs to somehow try and get these mexes back online, but it's so difficult. Brick back on this ridge, firing down, swatting at those NGs as they try and get some kind of resourcing option back in place for Rock. Megalith chasing down this Monkey Lord. No Omni anywhere near it, of course. So reasonably easy to conceal. That Megalith is deciding not to pursue. I think it's a very sensible idea indeed. Especially since there's a Megalith coming in the front door now from Varro with a whole lot of bricks in tow. A whole lot of bricks ahead of it. Engineers up front for Varro, getting as many wrecks reclaimed as he can. And a bug under construction as well. And if this Megalith doesn't end it, surely that bug will. Now that Monkey Lord is coming back into the mix, trying to chase down. If he can get in down here quick enough, he might be able to swing this battle in a tidy fashion. I think he's going to go Varro's way anyway. He's ahead on HP. There's a lot of bricks down here as well. They're going to be able to focus fire this crab, but especially with this Monkey Lord coming in from the side. Microwave laser is going to primary it. As soon as he does, that's going to be the end of that experimental. There is a monkey here from Rock as well, but surely he's not going to be able to contend with two experimentals from Varro. He's going to get the jump on at least one of them, but it's not going to be enough. And Rock says, finally, GG man. Throws up the good game. He knows he's beaten, and he also throws up the surrender. Very well played indeed. And there was a bug coming in over on the right-hand side as well. So very nicely played indeed from both these guys. And just goes to show you, yes, it took him a long time to finish that off, but very nice heavy air strat there from Varro. Really taking control of the skies and holding it for the rest of the game. And particularly effective, I guess, on Certis, just because the range of movement is so limited. You do have these choke points around the map, different elevations. You can't just go where you please. Drops are very important over the ridges, and Varro definitely made that work for him. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. As always, more to come from me in the future. In the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle, signing out.